Hey, welcome. I hope you guys are doing good. Thank you so much for joining me here. Today's reading is the person on your mind, maybe group of people. But what is it? No, how are they viewing you? What are they thinking about you at the moment? All right. So we have three groups for you to choose from: group one, group two, and group three. Feel free to pause the video if you do need to take a moment to choose your group, but I will see you in your reading. Hey, for those of you who have chosen the first group, then this reading could be for you. The person, people on your mind, how do they view you? What are they thinking about you? We'll see what messages come through, all right? So as ever, I'll start off with your tarot cards. We have the Judgment in the upright position. We have Wheel of Fortune in reverse and the Queen of Wands also in reverse. Okay, so how do they view you? So it feels like you're being viewed as quite wise, kind of cautious though, but only because you are trying to show good judgment, maybe make good choices. So that's why they feel you are quite cautious. They do think you're different than what they originally thought. They think that you've changed a lot in their perspective in a positive way for the majority of you. You're someone that they or people are quite curious about as well, because you have an interest in mindset, in their opinion. Like you have an interesting way that you view certain things. Maybe you have an interesting way of speaking, the way you use words as well. Like something about you, is very interesting to this person or people. They or people think that you just have like great clarity over certain things. Like maybe when you speak specifically, like you're very clear. Maybe you're able to kind of give people clarity through what you say. But also they think that you have faith in what you say as well. Like you say what you mean what you say, and it feels like they appreciate someone who kind of maybe communicates that way. But they do think you're like someone who's quite reflective as well and introverted at times. Um, they also view you as trusting your intuition. They also think you help other people gain clarity, which I think I mentioned already. They kind of just view you as someone who has this great insight and understanding of certain things, that at some point in your life you had like this awakening. I don't know if they would like use that term, but they do think you had this awakening at some point in your life that really changed you. In ways, they do view you as quite immature, but in a good way though, like in an innocent kind of way. Um, but they also think that you are someone who has a lot of success in their future, a lot of potential, and that could be another reason why they kind of view you as immature, because they still like they see you as having like a lot left to like give, or a lot that you maybe want to achieve, or just like a big future ahead of you. um like they view you as still growing, so that could be why they kind of see you as immature in certain ways. So they also view you as transforming them, not intentionally though. Like they kind of feel that they are maybe picking up some of your habits, some of your good habits. Maybe it does feel like positive. Like they view you as someone who has influence, is kind of influential, whether they want to kind of pick up your habits, whether they want to, transform because of, maybe, who you are, maybe because of things you said. Like it feels like it's not necessarily something that, trying to do, but it could be like this natural kind of pull that you have over people. Um, so yeah, they also view you as someone who rarely makes a mistake. Like you rarely live without regret. Like you rarely do things without, a certain intention. But they do view you as learning still. Um, for some of you, it could be learning from your past experiences. They also see you as someone that they can be transparent with. They do think you are like evolving. They do view you as having had a string of bad luck though, but they feel like you work through it, and you figure it out. But they also feel it will change for you soon. Like they do feel your luck will change very soon. They do view you as someone that they have had challenges with, but these could be like indirect challenges. Like you could help them see things about themselves that they don't really want to see. Like they want to change things about themselves that they don't really want to change, or you know. So it feels like some of you can make this person question themselves. But again, like it feels indirect. It doesn't feel like you're going out of your way to, make this person feel like they need to change, or, perceive things in certain ways. Again, like they kind of just feel like that's the kind of pull you have, even though it could be unintentional on your part. Like they could enter a conversation with you having a completely different perspective than you. And even though, like, in this conversation, you're not necessarily trying to get them to see your perspective or understand your perspective, but they feel like their mind frame changes on certain things when they do have these conversations with you. And and these may not even be direct conversations you have with them. Like it could be conversations you have with other people and they hear, you know. But yeah, they do view you as someone who challenges them. They also think you don't let go of things easily, but not in a stubborn way. Like they do think you hold on to your past. They think you value your past though, and these past experiences because of what it taught you, who it made you. Um, because for a lot of you, they don't view you as having the most pleasant history, but they do think you're grateful for it, you know? So for some of you here, they could think that you need to accept their help. They don't think you're stubborn in general, but maybe come to when it does come to maybe accepting help, or maybe specifically certain people's help, For some of you, they could view you as a bit erratic at times, a bit unpredictable. They could also view you as having bad karma for some of you, but they don't understand why, like where it came from, because they view you as someone who doesn't really deserve it, in their opinion and what they know of you. They do view you as kind of blocked right now, impatient for things to change, and they do think you have this plan for your life as well. But I mean, they could think it is or it has been hard for you to kind of reach certain goals or to achieve certain things. But they could feel like that hasn't stopped you. Like they do view you as positive despite, certain things. And, despite them thinking your luck isn't great or some of your experiences, haven't been the best or your path has been blocked, even if that's not really how you perceive things, like just from, outside looking in. But yeah, they view you as quite positive despite these things, and they view you as not being the most secure in yourself, but they think you have a lot of qualities that are admirable, a lot of things about you that are beautiful as well. Like you're viewed as quite tired and stressed, but calm, and you're also seen as very independent as well by this person or by people, if you're asking in general. So we have you need a good cry. We also have you equals a tight ass. So for some of you, they could view you as quite personal. I mean, no, quite maybe controlling over some of your like personal affairs, like maybe your emotions, even because with this card here, it feels like they view you as someone who kind of keeps their feelings, bottled up. And with tight arts here and Four of Pentacles coming out to clarify, they could feel like you are quite controlling over certain things, whether it be over money, whether it be over your personal life, whether you kind of just like things, how you like it. So yeah, they could think you are quite controlling in some ways. Okay, so we have work of art. We have falling. We have animal. We have let yourself feel all of your emotions. And we also have self-confidence through God confidence. So they feel like you are someone that needs to feel all of their emotions because they feel like you aren't really doing that right now. Like again, like they could feel like you just bottle how you feel up sometimes. But having said that, it doesn't really feel like they see you as kind of like they don't really see it as having a negative effect on you, on other people, on them. They could just feel they could feel like it wouldn't be healthy for you in the long run, but they don't really see it having a negative effect right now. With Fallen, it feels like they view you as wanting to getting to know people like at their core, or you're just someone who cares to understand people, at their core. Or they feel like you want to understand them or people beyond, the mask that they have. So they could feel like either people in general or just them specifically, they could feel like it's hard to wear a mask around you. So this person, they also view you as incredibly beautiful as well, very attractive. And with animal, it says embrace your wild side, but this doesn't really feel like it's referring to you. It feels like they view you as someone who is able to embrace theirs, or just people in general, their like wild side, their flawed side. Like like I said before, they want to see, they feel like you want to see someone like as they are, not putting on a show, like. So yeah. So yeah, they do view you as someone who either embraces people's flaws, or you just, it's like it's not something that kind of like turns you away from people, kind of seeing them as they are. And with self-confidence through God confidence, like they view you as someone who generally does believe in themselves, even if you have experienced a lot of um, failures, challenges, kind of blockages. I'm just gonna pull a few more cards and then I'll wrap it up. Okay. So how do they view you? Oh crap. So we have strict, we have nice, we have emotional, we have impartial, we have fair, we have smooth, and we have hypocritical. So for some of you, they could view you as hypocritical in some ways. It doesn't really feel like it's anything that deep. Um, like for example, they view you as someone who, um, like what was that message that came up before? Like you bottle up your emotions, but um, they view you as kind of wanting other people to kind of like dive deep, or that's just something that you encourage in other people, but you don't necessarily do that for yourself. Like it could be something along those lines, it could be something else. But yeah. So for some of you, they could view you as quite strict with yourself. It doesn't really feel like that's kind of towards other people. It could be a certain person in your life that you are strict towards. Maybe someone that's younger than you. But overall, like, they do view you as someone who is quite nice. Like, they could view you as emotional, even though they feel that you could bottle it up most of the time. They could view you as impartial. Um, so they could actually view you as quite impartial towards them, but at the same time, they do feel that you are still, fair towards them and towards other people. But that is all I have for those of you who chose this group. I really do hope it could be helpful and make sense. And I'm wishing you guys the best, alright? Please take care of yourselves. Bye. Hey, welcome if you have chosen the second group. And this reading could be for you. The person, people on your mind, how do they view you? What are they thinking about you? We have Four of Swords in reverse, Three of Cups also in reverse, and the Strength card in reverse. Alright, so it feels like they could view you as quite serious a lot of the time. Um, they could view you as having like an unusual sense of humor. But anyway, they do view you as quite honest and outspoken, but not very blunt, like not in a blunt way. Even if some of the things you say can be seen as hurtful, they don't think it's intentional. They could view you as distrusting of others though, um, that you kind of like second guess or question what people say, maybe people's intentions. They view you as trying to make better choices and also trying to push aside any negativity or trying not to be, negative in certain situations. But having said that, they don't view you as, positive either. They view you as more so like realistic, logical as well. They do see you as, very mentally strong. And they also see you as someone they don't want to, withdraw from anymore. They don't want to maybe continue running away from you, maybe pushing you away, creating some type of distance between you guys. But they do think it is hard for them to open up to you as well. And they also feel that it's not the right time for them to open up to you or for them to be like completely transparent with you. Um, like they could feel they need to understand you on a more, in a more like secure way before they're able to kind of fully open up to you, or before they kind of feel comfortable to do that. But it does feel like something that they want to do. So they also view you as someone they have a lot of misconceptions about. but they think that they need to stop being negative, and overall they think that they do need to be friendlier with you, kinder to you. Like for some of you here, you can make this person feel lonely, or they feel alone when they um, aren't around you. Like they could view you as someone, like your absence is felt, when you're not there. For some of you, depending on who you're asking about, they could think that they need to stop leaving you out. Or if this is like a group situation, they could feel that they need to stop letting other people, try and leave you out, or making you kind of feel, some kind of way in certain situations. Like they see you as someone they need to be more dependent on. They realize that they need you, that you benefit them somehow, or you could benefit them somehow. And it feels like they've realized as well that they need your support or want your support. So for some of you, they view you as someone that they need to stop pushing in some way, It doesn't need to be in a negative way, but it feels like overall they just want to get along better with you, build a better relationship with you. For some of you, they could think that they need to stop. So they either think they need to stop talking about you to other people, or just avoid, doing it entirely. Whether it's, positive or negative, they could feel that they shouldn't talk about you when you aren't there. Like they could think other people talk a lot about you, and it feels like they just don't want to be a part of it, or they don't want to be seen as like a part of a group, like of people that are just talking about you. Like they kind of want to separate themselves from, these other people. So they also think that they need to avoid betraying you in any way. They do think that there are cracks in your friendships. Maybe not your friendship with them, it could be referring to your friendship with other people. They could feel that your social life isn't, at the forefront of your focus, and they could think that your friends could feel neglected by you, for that reason. And they also feel that you two need more privacy. So they also view you as the source of envy for them. So for some of you, they view you as a source of envy. And it could be because you are healing, or you're healing for other people. Could be other reasons as well. It could be because you're quite stable. And they also view you as someone they underestimated. if I haven't said that already. Like they could see you as having lost control of some area of your life and, feeling a little bit vulnerable. But it feels like they may not even believe that. It feels like that's something that they want to be true. But they could view you as having low energy levels at the moment, or in general, actually. But yeah, they feel like they need to kind of check their pride and their ego when it comes to you, or they won't end up getting what they want from you. So we have stop talking, and on the back it says be quiet and listen. We also have apologize. We have return to joy. We have ocean, go with the flow. We have house, home. We have spiritual path. And on that, it says your beliefs are becoming clearer to you, which prompts you to make necessary life changes. We also have progress, not perfection. Don't compare yourself to others or judge yourself. Instead, focus on how far you've come and everything you've learned. So it feels like they could have felt quite judgmental towards you in the past, but now they're viewing you as someone that like they should ease up on, like they shouldn't be so judgmental. They shouldn't, be, quick to, label you or, think you're certain things. So they could view you as someone who could eventually stop speaking to them, either in general or about certain things, but they could feel that you may decide to kind of stop communicating with them, right? But it feels like that is something they want to avoid happening. They also view you as someone they need to apologize to. I don't know if you guys can hear that alarm in the background, but it keeps coming on. So I might have to pause the video again. So for some of you, it may not be that they feel they need to apologize to you. It could just be that they feel they need to treat you differently, like treat you kind of, yeah. It may not even be that they want to treat you kinda. It could just be that they want you to have more, like a more positive opinion on them. And they feel like they shouldn't, with progress, not perfection, that they shouldn't worry too much about things kind of being perfect between you guys. They feel like they kind of just need to work on, making progress between you both. And they could view you as someone who is typically focused on progress as opposed to, being perfect. They also view you as someone who doesn't compare themselves to other people. So with return to joy, they could view you as someone that does want to be happy. So for some of you, this is random, but with house home, they could view you as wanting to make upgrades to your home. Or wanting to change something about your home. And they do view you as someone that they need to go with the flow with. But they feel like with spiritual path, like they feel like they need to change their approach to you almost. It feels like they've realized something about you, and it's like they feel like maybe if they keep, kind of going in a certain direction, that they won't be able to get the outcome that they want with you. So they do feel like they need to make some changes. Um, in order to kind of get what they want. So I'm just going to get some more cards and then I'll wrap the reading up. So how do they view you? Alright, so we have subservient, we have outspoken, we have political, we have questioning, impartial, proud, and we also have doubtful. So I think we already said this earlier, but they do view you as quite outspoken. For some of you, they could actually view you as avoiding politics. Like they do view you as proud of yourself. Maybe proud and confident of certain things that you have achieved. So with questioning, I think we said this earlier as well, like they view you as someone who doesn't necessarily just take people's word for it. Like you do question things, you don't just take what people say for, absolute fact. So they could view you as someone who is quite doubtful. Oh my days. They could also view you as someone who doesn't really choose sides. And please only take this last message if it makes sense. But for some of you guys with subservient, they could feel like they need to kiss your butt a little bit. Again, like it feels like they want something from you or to like maybe keep you sweet, but they feel like they need to kiss your butt a little bit. Like they do feel that they need to kind of swallow their pride and their ego a little bit when it comes to you as well, you know? But anyways, that is all I have for those of you who chose the second group. I really do hope it could be helpful, but I'm wishing you guys the best. All right, take care. Bye. Hello, welcome. If you've chosen the third group, and this reading could be for you, the person, people on your mind. How do they view you? What are they thinking about you at the moment? All right, so we have Seven of Wands in reverse, Six of Pentacles upright, and the Eight of Wands in reverse. Interesting. So it feels like for a lot of you here, this person, they could view you as someone they're actually going backwards with. Um, it feels like they view you as someone they have to be defensive around for whatever reason. But I have to say, it doesn't really feel like it's anything that you're doing. Like, it doesn't feel like they're perceiving you as someone who's trying to make them feel defensive, you know? Um, and it's kind of unclear why, you know, maybe it could be very different for each of you as to why they feel defensive around you. For some of you, they could feel intimidated, or because, you know, you're really good at something, you could be good at what you do, or because you're quite talented in some way. It could be something that you are more aware of. um, but overall, like, the source of their defensiveness isn't anything that you're doing intentionally, at least from their perspective, you know. But they could view you as ignoring them right now, or trying to avoid them, maybe avoid certain things like a certain topic, a certain, you know, conversation, stuff like that. And they could think you are very generous towards certain people and even towards them, actually. Like, even now, even if things are kind of like iffy between you guys, like, they do feel you are still quite generous towards them. And they don't think you dislike them, but they could think you don't really maybe respect them right now, maybe respect them as much as you did in the past. Like, they could view you as someone they should give up on. Like, they could view you guys as quite distant, maybe separated. But having said that, they still feel like territorial over you. Like, they kind of just think you guys have a complicated relationship. They could feel like you guys will always have a complicated relationship. And even though things are complicated from their perspective, they could think you guys still have a certain level of confidence in each other when it comes to certain things. You know, whether it's a small amount of confidence or large. Um, but having said that, they do feel that, you know, the trust is shaky, the foundation is quite shaky. Like, they feel that you both are losing power and control over the other, and they do view you as avoiding conflict with certain people. it doesn't really feel like that avoiding conflict is related to them, even though they view you as avoiding them. It might not be related to a conflict. Um, but yeah, they could view you as cautious of them, cautious around them. Like they feel that you show a certain level of reluctance towards them. They think that you don't really treat them positively anymore. For some of you, they could want your financial help or your financial contribution in some way. Like they see you as avoiding taking risks when it comes to something that means a lot to you or someone that means a lot to you. Like they do view you as someone they kind of overlooked before, but they don't now. Instead, they kind of want for there to be more balance between you guys. Like they do view you as wanting to be more stable, wanting to make better choices, or just make good choices in general. Or they kind of feel that you already do that. Like they could view you as wanting them to kind of get their shit together, or wanting them to be more stable. Like they view you as wanting them to be someone you can trust. But yeah, they feel like they should have been kinder to you. They think that right now you guys have no chemistry. Like they could view the relationship as kind of, dead, even if it's not ended. Like just because things are too complicated and they kind of feel like, in terms of chemistry, whatever, it's just not important, when it comes to your relationship. But yeah, they do view you as trying to be less impulsive, but they can view you as quite stressed right now and impatient. So we have be grateful. We also have you are going through some tough stuff. Union of love. We also have cat, which says take care of yourself. Trust that if you do, you'll always land on your feet. We have sex, kiss, hug, face and embrace all parts of yourself. We also have natural beauty and authenticity. And we also have give it to God. So they could feel that you guys actually need to be more grateful of each other in certain ways. Like there could be certain ways you benefit them, and they could feel like there are certain ways that they benefit you or have benefited you in the past, even if it's not something that they're currently doing. They could feel that something that happened between you guys, maybe something you said to them, kind of showed them that they do need to be more grateful. So they could view themselves as actually kind of going through something tough right now, as like because of how they treated you. They do view you as very naturally beautiful, just a natural person in general. They could view you as quite authentic as well. Yeah, so they could feel like you are naturally beautiful and attractive, like just being yourself, how you are right now. If any of you have gone through changes, it feels like they still see you as beautiful and attractive. They could view you as taking care of yourself right now, or trying to take care of yourself. They could also view you as someone who does typically always land on their feet and kind of, finds themselves in an alright position. Even if it is sometimes hard to get there, but they do feel like you do get there eventually. So it feels like this person, they view you as someone that they do want to reconnect with. They do want, um, let me see. Yeah, there's someone that they want to reconnect with. They do view you as someone who typically faces and embraces all parts of themselves, kind of similar to that message. Like they do feel like you are authentic and yourself. And a part of that is embracing yourself. So with Give It to God, like they could view you as choosing not to make an effort when it comes to them. Like this could be a part of the whole, them feeling like you are avoiding them or avoiding, something when it comes to them. Like they could also view you as not really caring about, getting clarity when it comes to them. They could view you as not really, caring about getting answers. I want to heal things or fix things. And finally, I'm just gonna grab a few more cards and then I will finish the reading there. Okay, so how do they view you? Alright, so we have frugal, ambitious, fair, tough, forceful, non-competitive, and bad-tempered. So they could view you as ambitious. For some of you, they could feel like you're quite ambitious when it comes to your personal goals. They could view you as frugal. They could view you as someone that they have been quite tough on, that they've been quite forceful with. But they feel like you have been generally, quite fair. They could view you as a fair person in general, but it does feel more so like when it comes to them. I don't know, with non-competitive, it feels like they view you as actually quite competitive in, certain situations. But at the same time, they don't really view you as a competitive person. At the same time, maybe when it comes to different things. So with bad temper, it feels like they feel that they need to approach you, you know, being a bit more chill, a bit more balanced, a bit more even. Um, but yeah, they could view you as someone that they haven't really shown their best side to. But it feels like they do want things to change between you guys. But anyways, that is all I have. For those of you who chose this group, I really do hope it could be helpful and make sense. I'm wishing you guys the best, alright? Take care of yourselves. Bye.